the list was Sofyan Amrabat, Kalvin Phillips, Romeo Lavia, and Ryan Gravenberch. First off, how do you think that list has come about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've all been sort of loosely linked with Liverpool, haven't they, in the past? I remember Amrabat was quite fiercely linked during the World Cup, which I always felt was a bit coincidental just because he was sort of prominent at the time. Yeah. Kalvin Phillips was linked, I think it was the Daily Star, done a story on him maybe May time that he was on there. So he's been bubbling away in the background. Lavia obviously and Gravenberch have been quite, well trailed as Liverpool target. I think the fascinating thing about it is just how different they sort of are. They're all centre midfielders, but you've got a 26-year-old Kalvin Phillips, I think 27, 28. You've got two younger lads, but you've got players who Phillips and Gravenberch who don't play regularly for their clubs. You've got Lavia who has been relegated to a lesser team and is wanted by others. You've got Amrabat who's a regular but a different type of player to the others in the sense of he's very much a destroyer. We saw him at the World Cup, didn't we, for Morocco. We've seen him for Fiorentina in the latter stages of the Conference League, where he's a defensive midfielder, isn't he? Yeah. The others are a little bit more progressive and different types. So I think there'll be more on that list as well. I know there are more on that list. So I think the fascinating thing from now is what are Liverpool after, in the sense of, are they going to get a Fabinho? Are they going to get two replacements? Are they going to get a younger one and an experienced one? Are they going to get someone who plays a different way and just change the style a little bit and be a bit different? What does it mean for Trent? I think Trent's a central figure in this. The two most fascinating aspects of it, I think, are actually Trent and Lavia, in the sense of, if you think Lavia could develop into Fabinho's longer term replacement, can he do it now? Can you just gamble on him and say, come on, swim? Just do it. I mean, it'd be huge risk. I've been sceptical of the deal for that reason. Anyway, but if you're sceptical of that when it looks like he's coming in as Fabinho's understudy, the scepticism can't be less when you think he's the main man. But there's a reason Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea all want him. They must think he's got that potential. So there's two aspects to it. One, can he do it now? Potentially with let's say you've got Alexis McAllister who can play in there a little bit with a two. You've got Trent, obviously. You've got Bajcetic who's sort of developing. It's not ideal. None of that's ideal, but it can work. Maybe Henderson stays, and you've got that experience that you can build around. You've still got Thiago potentially. You can sort of play in a two in there. The other one is he might be gone this summer, so your longer term option might go this summer as well. So you end up with the worst of both worlds. You end up with a sort of a stopgap sign, and you don't even get the one that you want as well. So I'm fascinated to see what Liverpool do with Lavia, whether they go, okay, we'll go a bit higher, or we'll just, that's it. And I think with Trent, you have to open the door to the possibility that Liverpool say, you're going to have to go in there. You're not going to have to against his will. I think he'd quite like to. Yeah, but okay, we're all in on that idea. Let's commit to that idea for the foreseeable, but then that opens up to, well, who's playing there then? Who's playing at right back?
Well, there's clearly options and there's clearly things, but for me, they all feel like ideal solutions to the problem. There's not one person on that list that we've named who you go, oh, there's Fabinho 2.0.
No.
There's nothing, if we're looking to do the same thing, and Liverpool have, as much as they might be modifying the system, or certainly did at the back end of the season, which you need new understanding around that, they've also effectively replaced Roberto Firmino with a guy who looks like he's going to do a Roberto Firmino impression in Cody Gakpo up front, etc. And there have been other examples of that. None of these guys seem like that straight fix or replacement. Every one of them has got a question mark over them.
Yeah.
And this is what I guess what Liverpool have got now. This is creative for me anyway. This is the iceberg. And we saw this when Suarez left. The inability to go and get an adequate ready-made replacement absolutely undid what Liverpool were trying to do. Now they've got time, and theoretically they've got a bit more money to solve the problem, but it's now become a problem that they absolutely need to solve.
Yeah, I think the one saving grace in it, in the sense, is obviously they got a good look at what it looks like when Fabinho isn't there, and he was there when he wasn't there, if you know what I mean. So they got it when he was out of form and out of sorts. They got to look at what impact that had on the team, and so they've taken steps obviously already, and we've seen it tactically, didn't we? But we saw it mid-season where they just changed personnel. Fabinho and Henderson would drop for a few weeks, weren't they? And Bajcetic came in, so they've sort of had a little look at what they might be able to do. So I think maybe 2 seasons ago, it rips almost everything out of the team when Fabinho isn't available or wasn't there. I think it's a little bit less pronounced now. It's still significant, but I think Liverpool are sort of a little bit more, I'll say prepared, but they've got a few more options and they're a bit more flexible in the way that they can do it, and that might benefit them when this sort of comes. They might not need to sort of, it sounds like a terrible thing to say, you might not need to get that good a player as you maybe once did to replace Fabinho. You might be able to get a functional player, like an Amrabat.
Yeah.
I think Amrabat's he's a good player, obviously.
He's fit and he's the right senior age.
I think he's very much a team player, isn't he, rather than a sort of a ceiling raiser of the team. He more just sort of does a role for you. So you might be able to do that in that way.
He's also, sorry to jut in, he's a Man United target as well, which is
West Ham as well. I saw obviously West Ham cash rich with having sold their own perfect Liverpool holding midfield, sadly. So yeah, there's obviously that going on. Like you say, he's fit, he's strong, he's a really good defensive player, so you might be able to do that and not feel the difference with Fabinho, or you might be able to just redesign the sort of way your team plays and have a couple of, have a passer in there, someone who's got a range of passing, or someone who carries the ball forward from deep and plays a different kind of way, a bit more Lavia, sort of, he's not the same as Fabinho, he plays in a similar position, but he's not the same type of player. So I do think that while it is a big disruption to Liverpool's plans, and they weren't in any way, shape or form sort of open to the idea of Fabinho leaving, at the start of the summer, I think it's a little bit easier to swallow after the season he's just had, and the fact that they put other parts in place to negate the sort of the damage that it can do if one player is out of form and out of sorts. They've obviously made a lot of work to make sure that doesn't disrupt everything. So that might benefit them in this, but it's only a might. There's a lot of mights in this whole story.
This is the thing. You're looking at a lad who was going to start the season.
He would 100%.
And when you're buying someone who's going to train under him and play half the games underneath him, I think your window, you're shooting closer to goal. It's more of it's far easier to get that player than it is to get the guy who's got to come in and hit the ground. And we're in a situation where I think that makes it even harder to start the season with Szoboszlai and McAllister, because you have to hit the ground running in pre-season in a huge way to be trusted a brand new 3-man midfield in game one.
Absolutely, and it wasn't the case, was it? You think about when Fabinho came in, that didn't happen, did it? He had to wait his turn. And I also think it does show you a little bit, I won't use the word spoiled, but maybe under recognised just how good a player Fabinho is and how few of them there are out there. And you look at now, it's daunting when I look at the top of the Premier League and the central midfielders, and you go, oh, wow, like there's not many, are there? There are not many sort of elite central midfielders that you can just go in. Arsenal have just got Declan Rice. United got Casemiro, different ends of the spectrum. City have got Rodri, probably the best in the world in that position. Chelsea spent 100 million on Enzo Fernandez. And then, apart from those and maybe 4 or 5 others, who usually at Real Madrid, you're sort of looking and going, everyone just looks like a step down, doesn't he? Everyone looks like a sort of a...
It's musical chairs, but no one told Liverpool that we were playing musical chairs until everyone was almost sat down. And, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, what's left? And this is about the iceberg thing. This is how you end up with Balotelli or Eto'o conversations, where who's left on the market. This is how you end up with Arsenal.
Who's the least sort of imperfect is the worry, isn't it?
Exactly.
Now, obviously, I can almost hear people in the Discord shouting Moises Caicedo's name.
Yes.
I think the timing just killed Liverpool on this. I honestly think if this was trailed for months and months, I think Liverpool, they had to have been in that mix and come on, can we get him? I think it's gone too far. It looks like he's gone to Chelsea, so they've almost, they've lost another potential target there. That I mean, I think if you'd have said to people, Fabinho goes and Caicedo comes in, any time in the last sort of six months, I think people would have say do it. But Fabinho's going at a time when Caicedo's going somewhere else, and it's imperfect, obviously, and not only that, strengthens the rival as well.
Can I just then move on, because you said earlier, you're certain that there's other names on that list. Right, I'm pulling a cliffhanger moment on you. If you want to hear the rest of the targets and get the full timeline on Jordan Henderson to Saudi, the latest in-depth discussion around Fabinho's future and what happens next, head over and watch the full Journo Insight Show on redmenplus.com right now. Hey, so all episodes of Bobby Firmino, Best in the World, our 3-part documentary series, are streaming right now on redmenplus.com. Subscribers over there get access to the full series. They get the full interviews for our contributors on there, including Liverpool legends past and present. And if you go over there right now and join as a Club Legend yearly subscriber, in your inbox you'll receive 2 codes which are going to give you access to 2 free pieces of Bobby Firmino merch. Celebrate a Liverpool legend with your feet up on the beach this summer in style with some cool Bobby Firmino gear. Head to redmenplus.com and join as a Club Legend yearly subscriber.